Hello and welcome to Wild Woman. My name is Mary and I am on a journey of spiritual and creative recovery. If you want to know more about what that is, check out my channel. Make sure you hit subscribe so that you're getting my weekly video updates. So it's almost Earth Day, and so I thought I would bring you a video this week about how we can all be a little bit more environmentally friendly. For me, part of my spiritual journey is recognizing that we all need to be a little bit better stewards and do a little bit better job of taking care of creation. So I've got a few tips for you today about reducing waste. And you may be thinking, well, I recycle, so that's good, right? Well, unfortunately, maybe not. Depending on where you live, actually a small fraction of the stuff that you're putting into your recycling bin actually ends up getting recycled. And the issue seems to be supply and demand. When the supply of recyclable materials exceeds the demand for post-consumer products, things that are made from recycled materials, then all of that excess plastic ends up going back into the landfills anyway. So what we all need to do is think of ways that we can reduce our waste, in particular, reducing our plastic waste. So I've got a few tips for you here. And the first one is this, the plastic shopping bags. And I know that you all have this mess going on at your home. You may have a cabinet or a drawer full of plastic shopping bags at your house, and I have a bag full of bags that hangs on a hook at my house. But the solution is pretty simple. It is cloth shopping bags. And I've purchased a handful of these, and I have picked up a few for free. This one, as an example, is one that I got for free at an event that I went to. They're so inexpensive that companies will actually often print their logo on the bag and hand them out at various events and things. So I've picked up several of these for free. They're really, or even the ones that you can purchase, are pretty inexpensive. And they do have a few advantages. The first one is size. So I'm going to hold this up for you if I can. The size of the plastic shopping bag as compared to the size of the paper bag. These bags, the cloth bags, hold twice as much stuff as these little plastic bags. They have nice big long, many of them have nice big long straps, and you can put that right over your shoulder, because I know we all end up with a cart full of these little bags, and then we're trying to put a half a dozen of those on one hand because they just have this little tiny handle here. So these are actually just a lot easier to use and a lot more convenient than the plastic bags, and some of them are really nice. This one, as an example, has a nice big flat bottom here, and you can see just how big this bag is and how much stuff this holds. It's a nice big bag. So I can really just fill this up with my groceries, and I can easily carry this in. So with the plastic shopping bags, I might end up with a dozen or more, and when I go to the grocery store, they'll put one or two things in each of these little bags, and I end up with a whole cartload of these things. When I take my own bags, I usually end up with about 5 or 6 bags. So it makes it a lot easier to carry my groceries in from the car. So they're just a heck of a lot more convenient, and they're easy to use. Now, a couple possible disadvantages. You might be thinking, well, won't they get kind of gross and icky on the inside? Well, I'll tell you what, these are cloth, and I just throw them in with a load of laundry with my clothes, and they come out nice and clean. Now, if it's got some printing or some logo on it, the logo might wear off, but that's no big deal. The bag is still totally usable, and they're easy to wash. And I have one like this that has like a plastic, sort of a plastic coating on it, but it is reusable, and it's nice and big, got a nice flat bottom, and this can easily be wiped out with a damp cloth and cleaned very easily. So the cleaning issue is actually pretty easy and straightforward. And so that's one of the biggest things you can do is just buy or acquire. You may even have several of these at home you've acquired, as I have from going to various events where they're being handed out as like little goodie bags. And so that is a super simple, inexpensive solution to the plastic bags. And so you may be asking yourself the question, how, if you're using cloth bags, how did I end up with a bag full of plastic bags? Well, a couple of things. The emergency trip to the grocery store that I wasn't planning ahead, like on my way home from work, I have to stop. I think, oh, I forgot to get something, or I may get a call or a text saying, hey, can you pick up a couple things on your way home from work? And so I sometimes end up with a couple of plastic bags because I made an unexpected stop at the grocery store. And the solution to that is that I try to remember to keep a couple of extra bags in the trunk of my car so that if I have to make an emergency stop, I have a couple of bags on hand. And honestly, once you get into the habit of taking your bags with you to the grocery store, it's not that hard. The first few times as I was getting started with it, I would get like all the way to the checkout counter and I'd be like, oh, I forgot my bags. Or even if my bags were in the trunk of my car, I would forget to bring them into the grocery store with me. But the more you do it and the more you practice taking your own bags with you, at this point I've been working on doing that for probably about a year now, and I've actually gotten pretty good at remembering to bring my bag to the grocery store with me, and I've gotten pretty good at remembering to keep a couple of extra bags in my car for those unexpected stops. The other issue that I'm having is the other people that live in my household. My son and my husband aren't quite 100% on board with the reusable shopping bag thing. So when they go to the grocery store, they sometimes end up coming home with a handful of plastic bags. So that's something that I'm definitely working on, trying to encourage the other people in my house to use those reusable cloth bags. So if you have any tips or suggestions about how to get other members of your family on board, I'd love to hear it in the comments, because that is definitely something that I'm working on, and that's my next challenge. The other big issue is this right here. These people. It is 2019. We need to quit using these. Stop. Just stop. So I honestly don't know why people are purchasing water in disposable plastic bottles. It seems like a waste of money to me. This just gets thrown in the trash, or it gets thrown in a recycling bin, which may or may not end up getting recycled. And why? Why are you buying water in plastic bags? And I see people at the supermarket buying entire cases of these. Why? In 2019, there are so many filtration systems that we have available to us that there doesn't seem to be any sense or reason. Now, I have to admit a little bit of guilt. Occasionally I'll go out and I'll forget to bring my water bottle with me, and I'll have to stop at a convenience mart and buy this. But buying this by the caseload is totally ridiculous. The other issue with these, that you often see these being handed out at events and parties. You might go to a party or a cookout or a barbecue, and you'll see whole coolers full of these. And my suggestion would be, if you're having a party, maybe just get a pitcher or a water cooler where people can refill water bottles rather than going through a whole bunch of these disposable guys. So this is my solution. This is, now admittedly this is plastic. Several of the items that I'm going to show you that I'm currently using as my reusable products are plastic. And so eventually this will end up being recycled or sent to a landfill, but I will certainly get a lot more uses out of this than I will this. So ultimately what we want is metal. So this is my metal water bottle. And it does have a little sippy top here at the top. This one I really like because it has a little pop top. When you push the button, it's getting kind of old. When you push the button, the little top pops open, which I really like. But metal is actually ultimately better than plastic, because this is not going to end up, this you can have for almost forever. And it does have a little flippy, sippy top up here at the top, which I do like. So both of these are far superior alternatives to the disposable water bottle. So, and again, both of these, if you notice, they have logos on it. This is one that I got for free at an event that I went to, and I actually probably have 3 or 4 various kinds of water bottles that I've picked up over the years at various events that I go to. And this one, I think I bought, it says Mammoth Cave on it. Mammoth Cave? I don't know if you can see that. So this one I bought when I was at a tourist gift shop in Kentucky. But these are inexpensive. They're easy to get. You can carry these around with you everywhere you go. Refill them. It's 2019. If you don't have a filtration system, get one. I think every refrigerator being made currently has a built-in filter, and you can just right there, the little tap on the front of your refrigerator, just stick this on there, refill your water bottle every day. You can get filtration systems that fit to your sink faucet. You can get filtered water. It's so easy this day to get good, potable, filtered drinking water, with very few exceptions in the United States where your tap water may not be drinkable. Very, very few exceptions. There's really no reason to purchase water. You can filter the tap water at home. You can refill these just about anywhere you go. So buy or acquire or use, if you have these, if you have a water bottle, use it. If you don't, pick yourself up one inexpensively. Your best option is metal, but plastic will also do. And I think just reducing these suckers, getting rid of these forever and ever and ever would be a great thing. The other one is this. This is my little metal insulated drink cup. Okay, and these are kind of, depending on what brand you get, and I know the Yeti brand is kind of expensive, but this is a generic off-brand, and mine's cute. It's kind of a teal blue. But we've bought, I think, 4 or 5 of these, and we just kind of acquire one at a time until we've accumulated one for each member of our family, or a couple for each member of our family. And so I use this for my coffee every day. It keeps my coffee warm all day long. But I also carry this around with me. So if I'm going to work, of course I just refill this from the coffee pot at work. But if I'm going to a meeting or an event or a place where there's probably coffee going to be served, rather than using the plastic or the foam cups, I'll just refill my own cup. And that's totally cool. I have also refilled this at like gas stations and convenience stores when I'm traveling or when I'm on the road, and that's usually acceptable. The one place where I've had trouble getting this refilled is at fast food restaurants. I suspect that has to do with their quantity control. They want to make sure that if you buy 8 ounces of coffee, you get 8 ounces and not a drop more. So if that happens, and I have had that happen, I said, "Okay, can you just refill my cup?" And they said, "No, we have to put it in our own cup." I just ask that they not put a lid on it, and I ask for no sleeve. And so when they hand me the cup of their coffee, I can just pour it into this one. And so that's a little bit of waste, but at least I didn't waste the plastic lid and the little sleeve that comes with the cup. And this is great. I can use it for hot beverages, cold beverages. I just refill this throughout the day. Take it with me when I'm on the go, when I'm traveling. And this is a great little companion to have in my life. The next thing that I have for you is plastic straws. And I know that plastic straws seem really small and really insignificant. But if you just think about it for a minute, how many times in your life, just yourself alone, have you used a plastic straw? And then if you multiply that out by all of the people in the United States, we're throwing an awful lot of plastic straws into landfills, most likely. And so my husband bought this for me for my birthday. Such a romantic. But it's just these little metal straws. And they come with these little silicone tips. So the nice thing about metal is that it can be washed. And these actually came with this little brush. And so the brush goes up in here and cleans it pretty good. The other nice thing about metal is that it can be sanitized. So you can bleach these, you can put them in boiling water, You take the silicone tips are removable, so you take the silicone tips off. You can put these in boiling water and that will sanitize them. And so they're perfectly sanitary. You know, they might get funky after a while, but if you sanitize them and clean them on a regular basis, they're perfectly safe to drink from. So I've been using these for a couple of months now, and when I go to a fast food restaurant, particularly if I go to the drive-thru, I just say, no straw, please. And I get my drink and I use my reusable straw, take my straw home with me, and wash it at the end of the day. The other one is cutlery. And so, yeah, this is another product that I have that's plastic. I'm a big fan of using what I have on hand. And I just took these out of like a little picnic set that I had bought at some time ago. And I had these on hand. So once these kind of reach the end of their natural life, I'll replace these with like probably a metal flatware of some sort. But I take these with me if I'm going to a fast food restaurant where I'm likely to run into the disposable flatware. And I just use this. I take it home with me and I wash it at the end of the day. And this is my little lunch pack. It's just a cloth napkin, which, by the way, I use cloth napkins at home. And again, they don't, you know, I just wash them in with my regular load of laundry. But this is a cloth, actually a towel, and I just stitched up the sides to make a handy dandy little pouch. And so I throw my straws and I throw my flatware in here and I take it with me. And this is usually in my car with me. So if I stop at a fast food restaurant or at a drive-thru, I've got that. The other thing that I sometimes carry with me is a plastic plate. And again, I can at a later time replace this with like a metal or some other lightweight material. But I maybe go to a pitch-in dinner or a potluck dinner, depending on where you live in the country. A pitch-in or a potluck is the same thing. Or you might go to a party, a cookout, or a barbecue, and you know there's going to be paper plates being used. I bring my own plate, and that just helps to reduce that waste just a little bit, just myself. And I understand why people use paper plates or plastic plates for events and parties and things like that, because I know I don't want to wash dishes for like 40 other people, but I don't mind washing my own dish. So I figure if I start doing this and other people see me doing this, maybe that'll inspire some people to bring their own dishes. And I remember when I was a kid and we used to go, the church would sometimes have little pitch-in dinners. And my mom would bring like a picnic basket, basically, with 4 plates and 4 sets of cutlery for everybody in our family. And that's the way you used to do it with pitch-ins. Everybody would kind of bring their own serviceware, and you take it home with you when you're done. So when I'm at the event, when I'm at the party, I might just wipe it off as well as I can or rinse it off a little bit. And then I stick it in my little bag, take it home, wash it, and then I wash this with my other cloth napkins on a weekly basis so it doesn't get funky and gunky and yucky. So those are my tips for ways that you can reduce your waste. I hope that you start, at the very least, start with the shopping bags. Because these plastic bags, you cannot put these into your regular recycling bin at home. And most supermarkets or grocery stores probably have a bin where you can return the plastic shopping bags. But these have the same issues that almost all other plastics have. There are so many of these being sent into recycling centers that they can't recycle them all. So these just end up everywhere and they create a huge mess. They get into our waterways, they get into the ocean, they get stuck in trees, and they just end up becoming litter all over the place. So this is one of the most important things you can do is start bringing your own cloth shopping bags. Start carrying around a reusable water bottle and a reusable coffee cup. And you can also start carrying around your reusable straws and cutlery. So just a few tips right there for you. Have a happy Earth Day, and I hope that you are thinking of ways that you can be a little more environmentally friendly this year. Thanks for watching. See you next time.